My in-laws sent out wedding invitations with the wrong date, on purpose, so my side of the family would miss it. Oops, my mother-in-law giggled. 150 of my guests showed up to an empty venue. I didn't cry. I postponed our honeymoon, used that $30,000 to throw a real wedding, and invited everyone except his family. When they saw the photos, my name's Dean, I'm 30, I make a living talking to a camera, and according to my future mother-in-law, that means I don't have a real job. Online, Dean does things. Travel vlogs, brand deals, sponsored posts, all of that. Offline, I'm the guy who paid for 80% of our wedding. I'm the oldest in my family, first one to really make it, and the one everyone assumes is fine because they saw me in a TikTok ad once. My fiancée Sophie is 28. She's a teacher. Sweet, calm, conflict avoidant to a level that should be studied by scientists. Her parents, Carol and Frank, are the opposite of calm. The night everything really started, we were at their dining table, buried under stacks of sample invitations, the good kind, thick paper, embossed names, rose gold foil. Carol had a glass of wine in one hand and a red pen in the other like she was editing a contract. Okay, she said, circling something. I still hate that your last name is first. It sounds off. It's alphabetical, I said. Also, I'm the one actually changing my last name online. I already told my followers. She made a face. Your followers. Then, she looked at Sophie instead of me. Sweetie, don't you think it looks better if it says, the Miller Grant Wedding? Our family's name first? Sophie glanced at me like a deer in headlights. I don't care, she said, as long as we get married. I shrugged. Fine. Put Miller first. Carol gave me this tight little smile. Good. It's more traditional. That was her favorite word. Traditional meant the way Carol wants it. Frank walked in from the kitchen with another beer. You kids figure out the invites yet? The printer's giving us a great deal if we finalize tonight. I straightened up. About that, my cousin has a print shop. He offered to do all the invitations at cost. I can send him the file. Carol cut me off with a laugh that was just a bit too sharp. Oh, honey, no. Your cousin's in another state. Shipping will be a nightmare. We already talked to our printer. He knows our family. We'll handle it. She patted my hand like I was a child reaching for the stove. It's really not a big deal, I said. I already told my side of the family my cousin. And you can tell them plans changed, she said. We'll take care of printing and mailing. Less on your plate. She said it like she was doing me this huge favor while literally crossing out the vendor I'd picked. Sophie chewed on her thumbnail. Mom, Dean, already? We're not going to fight over envelopes, Carol snapped, then took another sip of wine and put on her fake soft voice. Dean, sweetheart, you're busy filming little videos. Let the adults handle logistics. Something in me stiffened. Little videos. I run a company, Carol, I said quietly. It's not just filming little videos. She rolled her eyes. Yes, you're very famous on the internet. But this is a wedding. We've done this before. You haven't. Frank chuckled. Relax, son. You're paying. We're planning. Teamwork, right? That line hit harder than I wanted to admit. You're paying, we're planning. Like that was our deal. I caught Sophie's eye. She gave me this tiny apologetic smile, like, please, just let it go. I did what I always do with her parents. Swallowed the comment sitting on my tongue. Sure, I said. You handle the printer. Carol clapped her hands like we'd agreed on something cute, not on who would control the entire guest list. Perfect, she said. Email me the final file, and I'll send everything out this week. Don't worry about a thing. She smiled when she said it. I didn't know that smile was the first domino falling. I didn't know that her having the file would end with 150 of my guests standing in front of a locked venue on the wrong day. I didn't know that her casual, don't worry about a thing, really meant you have no idea what I'm about to do. Here's what you need to understand before we get to the empty venue and the oops giggle. This didn't come out of nowhere. From the moment Sophie and I got engaged, Carol and Frank decided my bank account was part of the family. I mean, you're the influencer, Carol said the night we announced it. Not to be rude, but you are the one with money. She said it in front of everyone. Her sisters, Sophie's cousins, half of their church group. Frank raised his beer. Our son-in-law's the rich one. We're in good hands. Everybody laughed. I did too, because what else do you do? It started small. They couldn't afford the dream venue, so I covered the difference. The photographer Sophie wanted, I picked up the tab. When Frank's truck died, suddenly the conversation shifted to how it would be nice if he could drive to the wedding in something that doesn't make us look poor on camera. You don't have to buy him a truck, Carol said. Just help with the down payment. You'll get it back in content. She actually said that, like my future father-in-law was B-roll. I paid. Of course I did. I love Sophie. I wanted our day to be perfect. Every time I hesitated, the guilt started. We're not asking for a handout, Frank would say. It's an investment in the wedding. You want our side to look nice in the photos, don't you? Carol would add. Your followers notice everything. Somewhere along the way, our wedding turned into their show, my budget. Guest list? Carol's cousins, Carol's friends from Pilates, Carol's boss. My mom? Maybe she doesn't have to bring all 3 of your brothers. It'll throw off the seating chart. We had a massive fight about that one. It's my family, I snapped. I have 3 brothers. They're all coming. Carol sighed like I was asking her to host a convention. Dean, be reasonable. We can't invite every single person you've ever met. This is our only daughter's big day. We have to prioritize. Sophie stepped in. Mom, his brothers are not negotiable. Carol's nostrils flared, but she backed off. Fine, but then we cut some of your influencer friends. Who even are these people? At Lift with Lena? That's not a name. That's a handle. My side kept shrinking. Their side kept growing. Money kept flowing out of my account. To keep the peace, I picked up more brand deals. A 2-month sponsorship with a meal prep company. A last-minute partnership with a suit brand. I turned our engagement into content because if I was going to bleed money, I might as well monetize it. Every time I posted something wedding-related, Carol treated it like a marketing campaign for her. Tag me next time, she'd text. My friends want to see the behind-the-scenes, too. At some point, she started introducing herself as Dean's mother-in-law, the one from his videos, even when I hadn't posted her more than twice. But underneath all the jokes was this constant pressure. You know your mom's not contributing, right? Carol said one night while we were taste-testing cake. Frank and I are doing what we can, but we're not influencers. Translation, we expect you to cover what we can't, and we resent your family for not doing it too. My mom works in a grocery store. My dad left when I was 16. They're proud of me, but they don't have wedding money. They offered what they could. I told them not to worry about it. Apparently, that was a crime. Your mom could at least help with flowers, Carol said. It's about effort, not amount. The thing is, my family never asked me for money. They send me pictures of my videos on their old TV like I won the lottery, even though I'm just comfortable. Not billionaire comfortable. Just no roommates and a 401k. Sophie saw what was happening. I could see it in the way she'd go quiet when her mom started pushing. Babe, we can say no, she'd tell me later, in bed, when the house was quiet. We don't have to buy them everything. I'd stare at the ceiling. If I say no, they'll take it out on you. She didn't argue, which told me she knew I was right. Then came the invitations. I emailed Carol the final design, date, time, venue address, RSVSP link. I triple-checked everything. You sure about 3 p.m., she texted. Our church friends prefer evening weddings. Yep, I replied. Venues booked, vendors locked in. She didn't push. Just wrote, all right then, I'll send them out this week. 2 weeks later, my aunt called. Are you sure the wedding's on Saturday? She asked. Yeah, I said. Why? The invite says Sunday, she said. Might be a typo, but I wanted to check. I frowned, pulled up the file on my laptop. It definitely said Saturday. Can you send me a picture of the invitation you got? I asked. Sure, she said. 5 minutes later, she texted a photo. Same design, same venue, same everything. Except the date was 1 day off. I stared at it, confusion prickling under my skin. Before I could spiral, Carol called me. Oh my God, she said before I could even say hi. Your aunt is freaking out over nothing. So there is a typo? I asked. She laughed. The printer messed up a batch. We fixed it. Your mom's side will get updated ones. Deep breaths, Dean. Don't have a meltdown over cardstock. I hesitated. Why didn't you tell me? Because it's handled, she said. You're always so dramatic. Go film a brand deal and let the moms fix the paper, okay? She hung up before I could ask more questions. Sophie, when I told her, frowned. Did she really say that? Yeah, she bit her lip. I'll talk to her. I wanted to believe it was just a printing error. I wanted to believe Carol wasn't that kind of person. So I believed her. The week of the wedding, my DMs were full of excited messages from my followers and friends. Can't wait to see you Saturday. Flying in Friday night. My family texted too. Got our flights. We're so proud of you. See you at the venue at 3. Everything looked fine, but in Carol's hands, a piece of paper already had a different date on it. And in her head, I think the plan was already done. The morning of the wedding, I woke up weirdly calm. My best man, Josh, made coffee. Sophie's girls were in another suite getting ready. The weather was perfect. No brand emergencies, no sponsor drama. I posted a quick "Today's the day" story, tagged the venue, did a cheesy thumbs up. My comments filled with hearts. At 1 p.m., Carol was already at the venue, directing staff like she owned the place. These centerpieces go on this side, she ordered. Dean's family will be over here. We want our side on camera more. I let it roll off me. I didn't want to fight on my wedding day. At 2:30, guests started arriving. Sophie's side, her coworkers, church friends, neighbors, people I'd never met who hugged me like I'd saved their cat. Where's your family? One of them asked casually. They'll be here, I said. My mom texted from the hotel like an hour ago. At 2:45, the coordinator tugged my sleeve. We're still missing a lot of guests from your list, she said quietly. We might have to start delaying. I checked my phone. Nothing from my mom, my brothers, my cousins, just random notifications. I called my mom, straight to voicemail. I called my oldest brother. It rang, then clicked. Dean? He answered. Where are you? I blinked. I'm at the venue. Where are you? We're at the venue, he said slowly. Doors are locked. Parking lot's empty. My stomach dropped. What? I stepped away from the crowd. You're at Willow Creek Events, right? No, he said. The invite says Willow Creek Hall downtown. For tomorrow, Sunday. We thought maybe it was a typo, but the lady at the desk says there's nothing booked under your name. Dean, what's going on? My hand went cold around the phone. I pulled up the digital file again, but I already knew what I was going to see. Saturday, Willow Creek Events, 3 p.m. Send me a photo of your invitation, I said. While I waited, I looked up and found Carol across the room, laughing with a group of her friends. She noticed me staring and waved. My phone buzzed. Photo incoming. I opened it. Same card my aunt had sent. Sunday, Willow Creek Hall, 3 p.m. Not a typo on a batch. Every invitation sent to my side had the wrong date and the wrong venue. My chest went hot. I walked straight to Carol holding my phone up. What is this? I said. My voice came out low and flat. She blinked at the screen. Then she put a hand over her mouth and did this ridiculous wide-eyed expression. Oh no, she said. Did the printer mess it up again? Again. I snapped. You told me it was fixed. She did that giggle. Light. Fake. Dripping with, oops. Well, clearly something slipped through, she said. These things happen. You can't control everything, Dean. My entire family is at the wrong place on the wrong day, I said. They're standing outside a building in nice clothes, wondering why their invitations lied to them. Carol glanced around like she didn't want people to hear. Lower your voice, she hissed. You're making a scene. Sophie appeared at my elbow, veil pinned, makeup done, eyes already worried. What's going on? She asked. I looked at her. My family isn't here because their invitations say the wedding is tomorrow, at a different venue. Her face drained of color. What? Carol jumped in. It's a silly mistake, that's all. The important people are here. I stared at her. The important people? She realized what she'd said, but instead of apologizing, she doubled down. Well, they can just come tomorrow, she said. We'll do a brunch. It'll be cute, 2-day celebration. There is no wedding tomorrow, I said. The venue is booked today. The vendors are here today. We are getting married today. Sophie's hand shook in mine. Mom, how did this happen? Carol shrugged like she'd bumped a lamp. The printer had the wrong file, she said. Maybe Dean sent the wrong version. He's always changing things for content. I felt something inside me tilt. I never changed the date, I said slowly. I have every email, every file. The only person who had the version that went to print was you. Her jaw tightened. Are you calling me a liar? I'm saying, I replied, the only people whose invitations are correct are your friends and your family. My side? Wrong date. Wrong venue. And you didn't notice? Her cheeks flushed. You're being paranoid. Why would I sabotage my own daughter's wedding? Frank appeared, already annoyed. What's this drama? We're starting in 10 minutes. I looked at him. My mom is crying in front of Willow Creek Hall because she thinks she missed my wedding. He rolled his eyes. We can't fix it now. Everyone here has already arrived. He clapped a hand on my shoulder. Be reasonable, son. You want Sophie to walk down the aisle to an empty room because your relatives can't read? Sophie flinched. Dad, you did this, I said quietly to Carol. You didn't want them here. She gave me the fakest, sympathetic look I've ever seen. Dean, she said softly, sometimes things just work out the way they're supposed to. Your family doesn't really get you. Half of them couldn't even afford to travel here. Maybe this is a blessing. My ears started ringing. That was the moment, not the wrong date, not the empty seats. It was Carol looking me dead in the eyes on my wedding day and telling me it was a blessing that my family had been tricked into missing it. Something in me snapped. Not loud, not explosive, just clean. I turned to Sophie, who looked like she was about to faint. Do you believe her? I asked. She swallowed. I don't know. I know my mom, but I also know this looks really bad. Dean, Carol said, don't ruin this day. Walk down that aisle. We'll smooth it over later. Yeah, Frank added. We can mail them photos. Mail them photos of a wedding they were supposed to be at. I pulled my phone out again and opened the group chat with my family. I took a video, my face pale in the soft lighting of the venue, the decorated arch behind me. Hey, guys, I said, voice shaking. I just found out your invitations had the wrong date and venue. That's why you're not here. It was not a mistake on my end, and I'm so sorry. I love you. We're going to figure this out. I hit send. Then I looked at Sophie. Do you want to get married like this? I asked, with half the seats empty because someone decided my side of the family doesn't matter. She stared at the rows of chairs, at her mom, at me. I want to marry you, she whispered. I don't want to marry this. The coordinator poked her head in. We need to start, she said. I took a breath. No, I said, we don't. And for the first time since we started planning this circus, I didn't just go along with what everyone else wanted. Here's what we did. We postponed the ceremony by an hour. While everyone panicked around us, I grabbed Sophie, Josh, and the coordinator and went into a back office. I'm not walking out there, I said, until I talk to my family. Sophie nodded, tears tracking through her makeup. Same. The coordinator looked stressed. We can only push so far. The vendors, I'm paying them, I said. They'll live. I set up a group video call. Mom, my brothers, my cousins, a chaotic collage of faces, some of them standing in a parking lot, others already back at the hotel. Jackets off, hair frizzed. My mom's eyes were red. Baby, she said the second she saw me. We thought we'd missed it. We thought we'd ruined your day. You didn't, I said. You didn't do anything wrong. I explained what happened. The wrong date, the wrong venue, the fact that Carol's side had all the correct information. There was a long, heavy pause. So they didn't want us there, my mom said quietly. Behind her, my aunt snorted. Guess our money wasn't good enough for their fancy pictures. I expected them to start yelling, to demand we call the whole thing off. Instead, my mom squared her shoulders. You do what you need to do, she said. If you want to get married today, you get married today. We'll watch on a screen. Then, we celebrate properly when you're ready. And if you want to walk out of there and never speak to those people again, we'll help you pack. My throat closed. I looked at Sophie. She'd never seen my family like this. All anger and love at the same time, protective in a way her parents had never been with her. Can you stream it? My brother asked. I'm serious. Prop a phone up. We'll cheer from here. That's when the influencer brain kicked in. I had tripods. I had phones. I had a venue that happened to have killer lighting. Yeah, I said slowly. Yeah, we can. We hung up with a plan. We'd do a small ceremony now, with Sophie's side present and my side watching on live video. Then, we'd fix this. When I walked back out into the main room, Carol pounced. "Did you calm down?" she asked. "We really need to get started." I looked her dead in the eye. "We're starting when I say we're starting," I said. "And for the record, I know what you did." Her smile flickered. "You don't have proof of anything." I smiled back. "I have screenshots. I have photos of invitations. I have email chains with the correct date. And I have a video of me explaining everything to the people you tried to cut out of my life." Her face went pale. "You wouldn't," she whispered. "I'm literally an influencer," I said. "This is what I do." Frank stepped in. "Are you threatening us?" "No," I said. "I'm telling you how this is going to go." I raised my voice just enough for the nearby guests to hear. "We're starting the ceremony in 30 minutes, I announced. "We'll be streaming it privately for my family, who got sent the wrong date by accident." I looked right at Carol when I said by accident. She folded her arms, lips pressed tight, but she stayed quiet. The ceremony? It was beautiful and horrible at the same time. Sophie walked down the aisle. I cried. Our friends cheered. On a tripod near the front row, my phone showed tiny faces on a screen, watching from hotel rooms and parking lots. When the officiant said, "If anyone knows of a reason these two should not be joined," I swear to God my mom yelled through the phone, "If her mother opens her mouth, I'm flying down there." Everyone laughed, even Sophie. We got married, but when it was over, and the photos started, and the DJ tried to get people on the dance floor, the emptiness hit again. Half the room was full. The other half was a graveyard of empty gold chairs. Carol tried to play hostess like nothing was wrong. "Smile. Let's get a picture with the Millers," she'd chirp. Every time she walked past me, she'd hiss some version of, "Don't you dare ruin this for Sophie with your drama." What she didn't know was that the ruining was just starting. For her. At 11 p.m., after the last guest left, Sophie and I sat on the edge of our hotel bed, staring at the honeymoon itinerary. 2 weeks in Bali, beachfront villa. I'd paid in full, non-refundable. "Well," Sophie said weakly, "at least we can get away from all of this." I stared at the numbers on the screen. 2 weeks of luxury for two people whose families now existed in two separate universes. "Do you still want to go?" I asked. She hesitated. "I want to be alone with you," she said. "But I don't want this to be the story. Oh, remember our wedding? The one where my mom lied to your entire family and we ran away to Bali instead of fixing it." She had a point. I opened my laptop and did something that would have given Carol a stroke. I canceled our honeymoon. We got airline credits and partial refunds. The villa? Non-refundable. $30,000 gone. Or not gone? I stared at the number and an idea formed. "I want a do-over," I said slowly. "For my family. For me. For you without your mom's claws and everything." Sophie frowned. "What do you mean?" "I mean," I said, "we use this money to throw a second wedding. A real one next month. Same dress, same suit, different venue. My guest list, no Millers." "You'd really do that?" she whispered. "I already paid for a party," I said. "Might as well make sure the right people are invited." She laughed, but there were tears in it. "My mom will lose her mind." "Your mom already lost her invitation," I said. We spent the next 3 hours sketching it out. Smaller venue. My cousin's print shop for invitations this time. Date and time triple-checked by me and my brother and my aunt. I booked vendors. I called in favors from brands I'd worked with for years. "Hey, I told a catering company I'd promoted before, what if we did a collab? You cater my Rideau wedding, I make a whole series about second chances." They were in. By sunrise, I had a rough budget, a draft guest list, and a crazy plan. I also had 37 unread messages from Carol. "You embarrassed me in front of everyone. How dare you accuse me of sabotage? You always make everything about your internet persona. You owe us an apology." I didn't answer any of them. Instead, I sent one message in a new group chat with just Sophie and her parents. "Dean, so we're clear. I know you changed the date on my family's invitations. I have enough documentation to prove it. Sophie and I are having a second celebration next month for the people who were excluded. You are not invited. If you show up, security will remove you." Then, I put my phone on silent. For the first time in months, I slept like a rock. The month between wedding number 1 and wedding number 2 was pure chaos. Carol called Sophie non-stop. When Sophie stopped picking up, she moved on to anyone who would listen. "They're punishing us," she told Sophie's aunt. "He's turning my daughter against her own family for content. Someone sent me screenshots of her posts on Facebook. My daughter married an influencer and now he thinks his followers are his family. Pray for us." Cool. Free marketing. On my side, it was the complete opposite. My mom cried when I told her about the second wedding. "You don't have to spend more money," she said. "We can just have a barbecue." "I want to," I said. "You deserve to see us say our vows in person, not on a glitchy video call outside a fake venue." She sniffled. "Then we'll be there. All of us, even Uncle Joe. And you know he doesn't get on planes." He did. He complained the entire flight, but he came. The day of wedding number 2, the energy was completely different. Smaller room, less fancy decor. No ridiculous ice sculpture Carol insisted on, just good food, good music, and people who actually gave a damn. The photographer, a friend of mine, not Carol's cousin's son, caught my mom's face when she first saw Sophie in her dress. "Oh, honey," my mom whispered, hand over her heart. "You look like, I don't even know. You just look like someone I'm proud my son married." Sophie cried harder hearing that than she did at any speech the first time. My brothers roasted me in their toasts and then hugged me so hard I couldn't breathe. "Second time's the charm," one of them joked. "This one actually exists. We laughed so much it hurt. And yeah, I filmed parts of it. Not for drama, for the same reason I film everything. To remember it. To show people you can start over." Later, I edited it into a video titled, "We Had 2 Weddings, Here's Why." I blurred Carol's face in the one clip where her voice could be heard saying, "Maybe it's a blessing," and left it at that. I didn't need to drag her by name. The story spoke for itself. The video blew up. People flooded the comments with their own wedding horror stories. A few recognized Carol's backyard from old vlogs and did some detective work, but I deleted anything that crossed a line. This wasn't about revenge content. This was about reclaiming something Carol tried to control. She still found out, though. A week later, she sent Sophie a screenshot of the video. "Carol, you humiliated our family publicly. Don't come crying to us when the internet forgets you." Sophie stared at the message, then hit block. "You're really okay with this?" I asked her. "With them being out." She took a long breath. "I spent my whole life trying to keep my mom happy," she said. "She sabotaged my wedding to make it a Miller show. She hurt you. She hurt your family. She doesn't get to keep access to me after that." "Are you sure?" I asked. She nodded. "I choose you." We didn't just cut them off overnight. We went low contact, then no contact when Carol tried one last stunt involving a surprisingly aggressive letter from some random lawyer cousin. Frank left me one voicemail that stuck in my head. "Dean," he said, voice tight, "you're blowing this way out of proportion. Family makes mistakes. Stop acting like you're better than us because you have money." That was the thing that finally clicked for me. It was never about the money. It was about control. They were furious that I'd stopped letting them use my bank account and my career while also refusing to let them rewrite the story. So I took both of those things back. I stopped paying for anything that had Miller on it, and I told the story myself. It's been 6 months since wedding number 1 and wedding number 2. Sophie and I live in a small apartment a few neighborhoods away from her parents now, but it might as well be a different planet. We see my family more. My mom sends Sophie recipes. My brothers come over to watch games. My aunt comments under my videos like she's just discovered the internet. We go to therapy, not because we're broken, but because we really don't want to turn into the people who hurt us. People still bring up the 2 weddings sometimes. "Wasn't that expensive?" they ask. "Was it really worth it?" Here's the honest answer. Yeah, it was worth every cent. Because that second wedding wasn't just a party. It was a line in the sand. It was me saying, "I will not let you buy control with my money." It was Sophie saying, "I will not let my mother decide whose love counts." It was my family standing in a room, in person this time, proof that we mattered even if we weren't on Carol's list. Sometimes, I think about that first day. The invitation's on the table. Carol's hand on my arm. "You're paying, we're planning," she'd said. Back then, I laughed it off. Now, it makes my skin crawl how casual I was about letting someone else plan my life because I didn't want to rock the boat. If you strip away the weddings, the influencer stuff, the drama, what happened is pretty simple. They tried to erase my side of the family. They tried to turn me into a walking wallet, and they expected me to smile for the photos anyway. I didn't. I postponed my honeymoon, took the hit, and used that money to build a room full of people who actually gave a damn whether I was there. I don't regret a single second of it. If there's a moral here, it's this. Being family doesn't give anyone the right to rewrite your life, spend your money, or decide who gets to witness your milestones. Love is not a cover charge. You don't owe access to people who sabotage your happiness and then giggle oops when you catch them. You get one life, a handful of big days, a small circle of people who are truly in your corner. If someone shows you they will happily lock your people out of the room just to feel more important, you don't beg them to unlock the door. You build a new room, and you don't invite them.